Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of, you guessed it, your daily English learning variety show. You say magazine, we say variety, de variedad, porque hay un poco de todo. So welcome to your daily English learning variety show. It's the show with no name, and right now it's time for liftoff. Come on.
9, 8,
7, countdown with me, folks.
5, 4, 3,
Lots to do
2,
today.
1, 0.
Oof.
Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff.
Here we go.
30 minutes after the hour.
Let's do this.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats.
And get ready for the ride of your life.
The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. The show with no Come on.
Let's go. Yes, folks, it's electric. Yesterday, we actually looked at electricity here on the show. We were looking at the difference between the word watts, vatios, watts, and watts. What's the problem? Vamos a repasarlo. What's the problem with watts? O sea, parecido, pero no. What, right? What's the problem with watts? Like Naomi Watts. There's an actress named Naomi Watts. Naomi Voltios would be the translation. So join us as we play with words, we learn, we laugh, and of course, I challenge you every day here on the show, along with all my other friends here on Vaughn Radio. Friends such as Rob Grams and his Pro Bow Show. Fitz and his program, No Excuses. A master class with the man himself. Speaking of the man himself, you've got Richard Vaughn Live. You've also got Speaking with Confidence with Ale. You've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. The Lunchtime Show with Rob Grams. Speak English with Ruby. The Salad with Dave Boyes. Kyle Miller and Drive Time. Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower. And I know I'm leaving somebody out. Oh, yeah. Chris Frank and his tour de force. Frankly Speaking. You can learn English with all of us all day long. Just download the Vaughn Radio app and learn and laugh with us daily for free. All right, amigos, let's kick things off with our first challenge of the day. It is a listening exercise, an exercise where you practice taking dictation, and also an exercise where we practice summing things up, summarizing things. So we're practicing 3 different things in this exercise: comprehension, dictation, and also, putting our opinions together, right? Our takes, and expressing them in a clear way. So without any further ado, it's the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? Say what? Oh, it is the Say What soundbite here on the show with no name. Also, folks, let me give you our question of the week. Now, this question of the week is for next week, okay? Because this week we have kind of a short week. So this one is going to be for the following Friday. Eso es como decimos, no este, sino el siguiente. All right? And again, this is a speaking exercise where all you have to do is send us a 1-minute voice note answering the question of the week. And this way, you get a chance to express yourself in English every week and receive feedback from yours truly, de un servidor. So don't miss this golden opportunity. All right, and this week, next week, I should say, it's going to be a really cool one. If you could go back in time and give yourself, your younger self, one piece of advice, what would it be? Ooh, this is a pretty deep one here. Take your time. I mean, you have, it's not this Friday, it's the following Friday. Okay, so you've got even the weekend up ahead to think it through. All right, so if you could go back in time and tell your younger self something, some piece of advice, what would it be? All right? I think it's a pretty deep one, you know? I mean, if you translate it into other words, it's, you know, what's something you wish you knew when you were a kid that you're pretty sure of now? You know, some kind of advice of some kind. Right? So, there it is, folks. Your question of the week. You can send it to alonso@grupovon.com. That's right. alonso@grupovon.com is my email address. You can also send me, some of you send me double troubles, you send me homophone suggestions. So feel free to send me whatever you like. Even some of you send me very special messages, you know, telling me, hey, you know, Alberto, here's my situation. I discovered your program many moons ago. So feel free. That email is open to all of you guys. It's alonso@grupovon.com. All right. And if you're not participating in our question of the week, our weekly speaking section, let this be one of your New Year's resolutions. Okay. Uno de tus propósitos para el nuevo año. All right, now let me give you guys today's Say What soundbite. It's going to be harder than yesterday's, but I still don't think it's going to be too hard. It is, I'll give you a little clue here. I don't know if it'll help at all, but it is probably one of the most famous people to ever walk the planet. Yeah, that's right. All right, so here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
I exercise every day. I vocalize every day. I practice if I'm working or not. So I just try to stay in shape all the time, vocally and mentally. And we got to work at them, but I don't mind it, you know.
Alberto, estoy leyendo un cómic y me estoy dando cuenta de que todas las onomatopeyas que salen son verbos en inglés.
Of course, man. We love making it easy.
Por ejemplo, aquí pone chomp y está un animal masticando.
Sure, to chomp.
Es mascar, ¿no?
Sí, mascar. Y lo haces con tus piños. You're chompers.
Ah, chompers es los piños grandotes, ¿no? Vale, y to click, por ejemplo.
To click. Well, to click is what you do on a computer. You click. Pinchar.
Perfecto, pinchas con el ratón. Claro, tiene sentido. To gulp.
Well, before I was gulping my soda. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Claro, estás tragando como un pato.
Eso es, no es lo mismo que sip.
Bien. To thump.
Thump. Don't thump your fist on the table. No des un pum, pum en la mesa.
De hecho, el conejito de Bambi se llamaba Thumper.
Eso es, todo tiene sentido en inglés.
Claro que sí, por eso hemos hecho el tercer libro de This Book is the Milk, que se llama This Book is the Shit. Este libro es la leche. Por Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender. Y lo sabes.
And you know it. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. You know where you can get it. You can pick it up at our Vaughn bookshop. You can also pick it up wherever you get your other reading materials, whether that's Amazon, Casa del Libro. Because I understand, hey, if you got a Casa del Libro right under your house, well, there's no better, more convenient place to pick up a copy of any book, not just our Vaughn books. But if you live in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza, remember you do have a Vaughn Center located in your city, and you can stop by to check out materials. You can stop by to get a free level test, or you can just stop by to take a tour. Say, hey, I'd like to see around your facilities. And I'm sure you know the word facilities there from the context, las instalaciones. So please stop by. You do not need an appointment. Well, possibly if you want to go further, si queréis ir un paso más allá and get a level test or have some kind of consultation or sit down with someone, you might have to make an appointment for that. But just to take a look around, I mean, I've seen it a million times at our offices in Orense 69, that's in Madrid, in the Cuzco area of Madrid. And I've seen many people stop by and just get some information, take a look around. So again, as we say in English, we use a Spanish expression, mi casa, su casa. Please feel free to stop by, especially if you're already familiar with the way we do things around here, with the Vaughn method, and you're already familiar with our materials, our teachers. Well, hey, just stop by and introduce yourself, because we would love to meet you. All right, let's take a look at our next challenge. We just got the first listen of the Say What soundbite out of the way. Why don't we kick things off with today's pop quiz? Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, folks. Welcome to our pop quiz. All right, our pop quiz usually comes from one of the many materials you can pick up at our bookshop. Today, we're taking a look at natural English. What is that? Well, basically, it gives you that stuff that we call here on the show totally native. This is where you learn to speak the way we speak and use the expressions we use. Again, this is one of the most fascinating parts of the language as far as I'm concerned. You know, I love learning all those little Spanish idiomatic expressions that I wasn't familiar with. In fact, I'm the first person to say, ¿y eso que acabas de decir? Hombre, lo he entendido por el contexto, pero explica. Eso es algo que decimos. And I've got to tell you something. People are more than happy to answer your questions, you know, especially when they know the answer, you know, because it's their language. Bueno, sí, eso es algo que se decía en los tiempos de tal. I love learning those little idiomatic expressions, those things that really make you sound like you get the language, like you get the way the native speakers think, right? Because again, one thing is the words we use, but the words we use are a direct indicator of how we think, how we view the world. So if you look at it like that, it's a lot deeper than just, you know, verbs, nouns, and adjectives. It's which ones we use and why and with what frequency. And that can tell you a lot about a certain culture. And that's that. If you don't think that's interesting, I mean, that's one of the things that makes English, or language learning, I should say, so fascinating, the cultural aspect. And I believe if you're a good teacher, if you're a good learner, you can't take that part out. No se puede sacar la parte cultural de ¿por qué lo decís así, así? Ah, así es como decís esta expresión. That's the stuff that blows my mind, that fascinates me. And you'll get that stuff here in natural English. You've got all those totally native expressions, and they break it down into different things. So dealing with loss, una pérdida. Feeling thankful, right? And these are just some ideas of different chapters that you'll find, different situations that you'll find yourself in, more than chapters. Of course, they come with audio, and we're going to listen to a little audio clip in just a moment. This book was written by Jimena Holiday, so you can't get a better teacher, writer, radio host than Jimena Holiday, and person. All of you who know her in person and you've met her, whether it's once or several times, well, you guys will know she is an amazing person, a very giving, very generous person, and she put it all into this, which is just one of her many, many books that she penned here at Vaughan. But Natural English is just one of those books that is part of her legacy, legado, here at Vaughan. And she has definitely left a legacy. And you guys can be a part of it by picking up a copy of Natural English, Tu Guía Definitiva del Inglés Natural. You can pick it up for 26 euros. Well, really, 25.95. Same thing. 26 euros. And I know you guys, my students, will definitely make the most of this awesome opportunity to learn English. And again, you can even look, like, say, you don't have to read the book in chronological order. Not at all. No, you can just take a look at the book and you can say, okay, well, you know what? I want to know more about how to negotiate. Okay, well, you've got a chapter on negotiations. Expressing interest in something. There's a chapter about expressing interest. All right. So today, what are we going to take a look at from this awesome material? We're going to take a look at giving your opinion. And this is something that everybody likes to do generally, but there are ways to do it, right? Diplomatic ways to do it, constructive ways to do it, and there are ways that can be more offensive. So this can be tricky territory. Let's give it a listen. And then, of course, I will have a couple questions for you afterwards. This is a little excerpt from Natural English.
Chapter 45, when you're giving your opinion.
Cuando das tu opinión. 4 key expressions.
The way I see it, or the way that I see it,
A mi modo de ver,
as far as I'm concerned,
en lo que a mí respecta,
don't you reckon?
¿no crees? ¿No te parece?
If you don't mind me saying so, if you don't mind my saying so.
Permíteme decir que
More useful English. Common mistake.
hacer clic en no se dice to click in, sino
To click on. Phrasal verbs. To miss out on.
perderse, dejar pasar,
To sniff around.
husmear.
Vocabulary. Pull factor. Push factor.
Factor atracción, factor empuje.
Man hours. People hours.
Horas de trabajo.
Pronunciation.
Conciencia o conocimiento se pronuncia
Awareness. Set phrase. To take advantage of.
aprovechar,
Exaggerate. Swimming in money.
forrado.
You know, Carol, you may be approaching the topic from the wrong angle. You can't see the forest for the trees.
Well, the way I see it, if we don't get the data on each and every person who clicks on our website, we could be missing out on an enormous amount of potential sales.
So what you propose is to write to each and every one of them. Is that right? Do you really think people sniff around our website because they're genuinely interested in buying something from us?
Well, definitely more than people who don't sniff around. Come on, they're leads that we shouldn't dismiss.
As far as I'm concerned, it's much more important to promote pull than push.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Listen, Carol, we've become quite famous doing what we do. People know who we are. We don't need to push ourselves onto them. They'll come to us. Our focus and investment should be on continuing to expand the awareness of our brand and image.
But look at all these leads. It's a waste if we don't take advantage of them, don't you reckon?
I agree with you, but as long as it doesn't cost us a fortune in time and man hours.
If you don't mind my saying so, we say people hours nowadays, Frank, not man hours.
Fine, Carol. It'll take 500 people hours to reach, tabulate, and deal with 500,000 leads we have. At least 10% of them will come to our door regardless of our push effort. And with only 10%, we'll already be swimming in money. And they'll come. You'll see.
Chapter 53, when you have a deadline.
Cuando tienes una fecha tope. 4 key expressions.
A race against time, a race against the clock.
Una carrera contra el reloj.
To pull out all the stops.
Poner toda la carne en el asador. Forzar la máquina. Darlo todo.
There's no time to lose.
No hay tiempo que perder.
To be pushed for time or to be pressed for time.
Tener poco tiempo.
More useful English. Vocabulary. Up to date.
Actualizado.
Invoices.
Facturas.
Phrasal verbs. To match up with. To tally with.
Coincidir con.
To go through.
Revisar.
Exaggerate. Time is of the essence.
El tiempo es oro.
Common mistake.
Lidiar con no se dice to lead with, sino
To deal with. Set phrase. You do the talking.
hablas tú.
Pronunciation. Reception.
Now, don't panic, everyone, and listen up. The tax inspectors are due here in 2 hours. It'll be a race against the clock, but that gives us just enough time, I think, to switch all the current books for the official ones that we've hopefully kept up to date. If we do things right and pull out all the stops, then we can...
But what if they find something? We haven't updated the official book since last month. How are we going to do this in 2 hours? Besides, the timesheets and bank deposits don't match up with the official invoices. We're in big trouble.
Look, there's no time to lose. Dorothy, go through the timesheets and hide the ones that don't coincide with official invoices. Danny, check the deposit slips and keep only the ones that tally with official bank deposits. Gertrude, make sure all the unofficial accounting books are out of view and check that any questionable computer files are stored away on a private hard disk. Quick, let's all get to work. Time is of the essence.
And me? What am I supposed to do? I'm the assistant manager here.
Prepare the meeting and decide on how we're going to deal with these inspectors. As you're the most articulate person around here, you do the talking.
Kathy, Nancy from reception is on the line. She wants to talk to you.
Tell her not now. We're too pushed for time.
She says it's a message from the tax people.
Oh, then, yeah, hand it over. Hello, Nancy. What's up? In 2 weeks' time? Do you mean they want to postpone the meeting until 2 weeks from now? Okay, I'll clear my schedule.
Wow, that was a close call.
You're telling me.
First things first, how you machines doing? You good?
Yeah, we're good.
Good. Let's take a picture. Quick question. ¿Cómo se dice emocionar en inglés?
To emotionate.
No! Think of Michael Jackson. Una pista de audio. It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark.
It's Thriller.
That's right. So emocionar is to
Thrill.
Eso es. And this book is the shit will thrill you. It's thrilling.
Sí, señor. This book is the shit. El inglés que no sabías que sabías. 1000 nuevas palabras para tu colección. De la mano de Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender.
Now we're talking. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. If you don't have it, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's our latest, greatest book from the Damián Moya Alberto Alonso collective. Yeah, 2 crazy cats, dos pájaros locos. We would say crazy cats who love to play with language and, make it fun. Like we do here every day on the show with no name. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to take a look at our Say What soundbite for the second time. We've got lots of really useful English that we got from Natural English, so we'll take a look at that. Also, I'll give you your pop quiz challenges, and we've got a really wacky news report. That and so much more when we come back. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is the second part of today's show with No Name here on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget to stop by our website. It's grupovaughn.com. You can find out about materials, courses, initiatives, open houses, special deals, and all that jazz. All the stuff that's going on in the Vaughn world. Also, mark your calendar. Speaking of events and things that are going on in the Vaughn world, February 3rd. That's right. Our first Vaughn Radio Trivia Night of 2026. I know we're all going to be there with bells on. ¿Con campanas puestas? Yeah. Well, that means con muchísimas ganas. The last trivia night we had was December. So we are ready to rock coming into February, because January we're going to skip. January is a tough month. You know, you're getting things back on track, especially that first week. So we've decided to put it off, aplazarlo, until February 3rd. But it's official. February 3rd will be the first Vaughn Radio Trivia Night of 2026. Make it a habit. You know, make it something that you do every month. I mean, if you do that, if you participate in the question of the week, you listen to Vaughn Radio every day. I mean, there's only one way you can go, and that's up. Think about that, you know, because you're not just listening. Then at the trivia nights, you're putting it into practice. In the question of the week, you're putting it into practice. I'm talking about your speaking, obviously. And all of those things are fun. We just talked about giving your opinion. I think we got a good question this week. It's a deep one. It's going to require some soul searching, como lo llamamos, buscando en tu alma, en tu profundidad. A piece of advice that you would give your younger you, had you known then. Si lo hubieses sabido entonces. And that, again, that's not for this Friday. It's for the following Friday. So that'll give you have more than a week to think about what you want to say. You can rehearse it. Hey, that's up to you. To each his own. ¿no? A cada uno lo suyo here. Cada uno lo que necesita, lo que le guste. And what do I mean there? Well, some people like to do it off the cuff. They don't like rehearsing things because it becomes mechanical. And other people say, I'm going to do it 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times. What I do recommend you do, this is a good idea here, record it no matter what, whether you're rehearsing or whether you're doing your final version. Because a lot of times when you're rehearsing, since you don't feel any pressure because you're not recording no es la buena, you do a good job. So that's something I've noticed throughout my years of recording content, audio, video content. Always record the rehearsal. Yeah, you never know. Some of your best stuff, it's probably a mix between the pressure is not on you and also spontaneity. It's the first time you've read it or approached it or rehearsed it. So, but there's no wrong way to do it. The idea is to share your opinion and to practice speaking English every week. Again, you should be practicing every week, but for this exercise, you'll actually get feedback. I imagine one of the biggest problems when people are practicing their English speaking at home is they don't have somebody to give them that feedback and say, bueno, sí, pero no, pero vamos a retocar. That is, I think, the difference. That's why question of the week, you can, in a month, you can really improve because I can highlight where you need to improve, what you're doing really well. I don't only point out, the things that may be your weaknesses, but I'm also pointing out your strengths as well. I say, wow, I love how you pronounce that. That's great. And one of the greatest things about that part of the show is the way you all support each other. La manera en que apoyáis uno al otro. It's excellent. All right. Let me give you the Say What soundbite. This is, as I said earlier, one of the most famous people, iconic people to ever walk the planet Earth. Here's your Say What soundbite for the second time.
I exercise every day. I vocalize every day. I practice if I'm working or not. So I just try to stay in shape all the time, vocally and mentally. And we got to work at them, but I don't mind it,
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas.
You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the Shit.
That's right, folks. VaughanTienda.com. As you know, you can get everything you're looking for over at VaughanTienda.com. Not just This Book is the Shit, but also Natural English, which we're looking at in today's pop quiz. All right, here's what I want from you folks in today's pop quiz. One of the words we looked at, it's a phrasal verb, was husmear. Okay, and that's a word. You know how I learned that word? It's funny. A lot of times we remember where and how we learn certain words. And husmear is a word I learned when we were doing This Book is the Milk. I remember it clearly because I said to Damian, well, it means, to investigate, to look maybe where you shouldn't, right? And Damian said, oh, yeah, husmear. And I said, husmear? Oh, wow, I'd never heard that word before. So there are several different ways to express the idea husmear. Okay, it can be to be nosy. That's one way as well. Estás metiendo la nariz. But it's to be nosy and look around, right? So it's kind of a compound idea. You're being nosy because you're looking around. All right, that is number one. Use it in context. I'm sure we can all think of somebody who's pretty nosy, who likes to come to your house and start looking around. And you say, wait a second, why are you looking around? Why are you so nosy? Mind your business. All right. The second one is a very polite way of telling somebody, excuse me, it's you're saying that you, disculpa, perdón. Disculpe would be the formal one. Okay, but it's not sorry or excuse me. So maybe it's because you're interrupting them, you're cutting them off, but also it can also come from indignation. Como, ¿qué? Disculpa? So again, the tone here is going to tell you the difference. So it can be disculpa? Like, what did you just say? Are you kidding me? Or it can also mean sincerely, perdón, disculpa. All right, it's a very, very diplomatic thing to know how to say. All right, I'll give you a little clue if you want. The word rogar is in it. Okay, rogar, if you know that word. And the third one is another way of saying that time is money. Okay, time is money. You say el tiempo es oro. We say time is money, but there's another way of saying that we heard in that audio from Natural English. All right, so number one, use the phrasal verb husmear in context. Number two, a way of saying perdón or perdón. Again, it's going to depend on your tone. It reminds me of, oh, tell me about it. Ah, sí, cuéntame. Or, tell me about it. Me lo dices o me lo cuentas. There, the whole difference is in the way you say it, right? Because the words are exactly the same, okay? So that's number two. And number three, another way of saying we don't have a lot of time. Time is very valuable. I just gave you one way to say it, and that is time is money, very similar to the Spanish, el tiempo es oro, time is gold, all right? A couple other things I wanted to look at, giving opinions. I think, I believe, I reckon. Those are three different ways to say the same thing. I believe we should do it this way. I reckon we should do it that way, right? I reckon, I believe. In my opinion, también si queremos meter, in my humble opinion, right? Humble is humilde. You say the same thing, okay? I suppose, I think, I reckon, right? These are three different ways, and it's good because if you're going to be talking about different things, it's good to use different, not to always say, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Great. Well, now next time say, I reckon. I also believe, right? I also think, I suppose, I guess. Those are other ways to express it. Now, if you're really sure, well, I'm convinced. I firmly believe. Esa me encanta. I firmly believe we have to do it this way. I'm convinced we have to do it this way. As far as I'm concerned, we have to do it this way. Okay, in my book, en cuanto a mí, that's another way of saying it. We need to do it this way. Okay? Here's another one. If you ask me, si me preguntas a mí, very common when giving your opinion. Well, if you ask me, I would do it this way. The way I see it, my take, we've looked at before, mi opinión, right? Do you agree? Do you strongly disagree? That's a way of saying that we don't agree with someone's opinion, okay? So, and then we said before, there's criticism, and then there's constructive criticism. They're saying, I hate this, I hate that. Well, great, but that doesn't fix anything. Also with deadlines, a couple expressions we heard in there. He's racing the clock, or he's going against the clock, okay? To go against the clock, to race the clock, means es una carrera contra reloj. I think you say the same thing. If you're under the gun, debajo de, I know you know under the knife, te estás sometiendo a una intervención, una cirugía, right? But if you're under the gun, it means you're under extreme pressure to meet a deadline, right? And maybe you'll have to burn the midnight oil. To burn the midnight oil means to work late into the night. We've all done it, whether it's studying or finishing up a project that needs to be done. Again, all of this second part we're looking at here has to do with deadlines. We've looked at this one. My back's against the wall. My hands are tied, right? My back, I can't do very much here. I'm in a difficult situation with not many options, right? I've got to beat the clock, right? I'm always doing everything at the 11th hour, at the last possible moment, the 11th hour. This is actually a movie too with Ed Norton, if I'm not mistaken. It's called The 11th Hour. So to beat the clock, ganarle al reloj. Think about it. All of these have to do with sports in a certain way, right? He did it at the 11th hour. He did it, another way to say that, in the nick of time, justo, a tiempo. And as we always say, mejor tarde que nunca. How do you say that one? Better late than never. Better late than never, all right? A couple other things that directly come from the audio. He can't see the forest for the trees. It means you're not looking at the big picture, right? No ves el panorama. That's another great expression. You're not seeing the big picture here. Okay, I want you to look at the big picture. You can't see the forest for the trees. Another one we saw, it's a 3-part phrasal verb, to miss out on. Because of his stubbornness, porque es muy cabezota, he misses out on a lot of opportunities, okay? And he isn't aware. We looked at that word, consciente. You can say conscious, but it would be much more common to say, you're not aware of what's going on. You're unaware, right? Maybe you should practice your awareness, sustantivo. We looked at the word leads. If any of you work in sales, that's really important in como comercial. We don't have any good leads. Leads are potential customers, right? Leads. We looked at the word regardless. We use that, independientemente. Regardless of the situation, we need to finish the report before the end of the day. So we have to pull out all the stops. And to pull out all the stops is another awesome expression that we saw. To pull out all the stops. That means to do everything in your power. Poner todo el carne sobre el asador. I like it better in Spanish. The only thing is it makes me hungry. Another way we looked at too, to be pressed for time. I'm really pressed for time. That means I don't have much time right now. We saw the word invoice, another way of saying the word bill. And both of them can be nouns and verbs. Bill me, mándame una factura. Okay, send me a bill or bill me. Invoice me or send me an invoice. Sustantivo y verbo en ambos casos. Es un verbo regular en ambos casos. He billed me. He invoiced me. Eso es lo bueno de inglés. Si ya sabes cómo decir el sustantivo, pues lo cambiamos y muchas veces funciona como verbo también. Right? Lidiar con, a false friend. It's not to litigate or to lead with. It's to deal with. We're dealing with this situation right now. Right? To deal with something. To be in big trouble. Oh, that was one we heard all the time when we were kids. If you do that, you're going to be in big trouble. Vas a tener muchos problemas. You're going to be in big trouble. Frase hecha. Okay? We looked at the word slip too. They said deposit slips, time slips. A slip es una hoja. Okay, a slip. In fact, in the United States, a lot of times they talk about a pink slip. The pink slip is the color the slip used to be if you got fired. And I remember after the .com boom, they had pink slip parties because, what happened was all of a sudden there were jobs for everybody all over the place. And, well, people were making like six figures with no experience because there was this new thing called the internet. And then they realized, well, we hired a lot of people, a lot of inexperienced people. And before you knew it, a lot of those companies closed down. It was a big boom. And a lot of people received their pink slips. And then they had something where you would have to show your pink slip to get into the party, right? Another one that came up over there is close call. Wow, that was a close call. Uy, por los pelos. And one that Jimena used, you're telling me. That's another way of saying, tell me about it, right? Another way to say that, you can say that again. Estoy de acuerdo. You can say that again. So there you go, folks. Some really native English stuff that, I was going to say you won't find in any book, but that's not true. You will find it in Jimena Holiday's Natural English. And all right, let's go on over here to our chat room. We've got some students participating here with us this morning. Elena says, good morning. How was your holiday? Awesome, Elena. Great to be back with you. Energized, feeling good, and ready for an awesome year. And I know you are in the same boat. You're in the same situation. She says, hope you have a memorable time. It's time to get back in the saddle. That's right. A saddle is a thing you put on top of a horse when you go horse riding. And it's also an Aerosmith song. I'm back in the saddle again. I'm back in the saddle again. No doubt about it. It feels good to be back. As I say, it's always good to take some time, to sleep in a little bit, dormir un poco más de la cuenta, to break the routine a little bit. And then you come back hungrier and ready for action. And I hope that's the same situation for all of you as well. And then she says, so let's get on with it. Excellent. There's another totally native. Vamos al lío, vamos con ello. Very different than saying, let's get it on. Como la canción de Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. You know what that means, right? Let's get it on is vamos a hacer el sexo. Yeah. But that's not what Elena said. Elena said, let's get on with it. Pero oye, cambiando el orden de las palabras, we can change the meaning, right? Let's get on with it or let's get it on. Awesome job, Elena. Great to have you back and ready to rock. She says, talking about our Say What soundbite, she says, I heard an American man who tries to keep in shape, especially working on his voice, no matter how busy he may be. Nailed it. Definitely an American man from the South. I'll give you a little clue. Somebody from the South of the United States. And yeah, absolutely talking about keeping himself and his voice in shape despite his busy schedule. Despite. A pesar de. Now you have two options there. You can say despite or in spite of, pero no mezclemos. Okay, apunta. Despite his busy schedule or in spite of, pero lo que no decimos es despite of. Okay? Despite sola o ya in spite of. All right? But again, I didn't have to tell Elena that because she used it correctly. Well, she didn't say despite. I said despite. But despite that, I believe if Elena had used the structure despite, she would have used it correctly. How's that? Let's see. J.M. Morgath. He says, hey, Happy New Year, Alberto. Happy New Year to you. J.M., great to have you with us. And he says, long time no see. Toma, totally native. Cuánto tiempo, long time no see. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas time. Oh, yeah, as I said, although I've got to say I overdid it. I ate way too much. I overate, and now I'm paying the price. You know, my jeans are just starting to fit again now. Okay, after 2 weeks. During the Christmas holiday, I was like, oh, I don't remember these jeans being so tight. Tan apretados. And the jeans stayed the same. Okay. Spoiler, the jeans didn't change. It was my belly, mi tripa. But again, oh man, that's the thing. You're grazing during the holidays. I remember for Christmas Eve, we went to Fernanda Baugan's house, Andy's mom. And I got there with my family, probably around 6-ish. And we were there probably till about 11 or so. And sure, there's food on the table from 6 until 11 later, because you've got dessert. And you're like, okay, well, I'm eating something every 10 minutes. A little piece of jamon. Okay, now I'm going to grab some fuet. Now I'll grab some shrimp. And before you know it, you're literally eating something every 10 minutes. So that means you're having 6 snacks per hour. That's why we all feel bloated afterwards. Bloated is hinchado. So, JM, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you as well. And it's great to have you back, all of you. And I hope you had, as I said yesterday, a wonderful holiday. And I hope you are ready to kick some ass in 2026. But folks, right now we have got to go to a quick commercial break. We are halfway through the show. We've got tons of stuff to cover when we come back. We've got our homophone section. Oh yeah, that's where we play with some words that may or may not sound the same. We've got our Say What soundbite for the 3rd time. Plus, we'll check our pop quiz answers. Man, we have got tons of stuff to cover when we come back. Real reviews as well. Spelling bee. Oh, geez. As I look at this script, I'd better put the pedal to the metal. All right, folks, we'll be right back with the second half of today's show. So stick around. Yes. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the second half of today's show with no name, where we learn a little bit about everything. Some grammar. We never call it grammar, but we do learn it. I call it structure. I prefer structure. Because, yeah, grammar, it's got a bad connotation. Structure, well, estructura. Si aprendo las estructuras del idioma, pues entonces más fácil. Hey, it's all about how you approach things in life. ¿Cómo eliges enfocar las cosas? Half full or half empty? You be the judge. And as I said, we're going to take a look at our homophones. Let's see how tough. I think you guys shouldn't have too much difficulty in the homophone section. We've got our Say What soundbite as well. That'll be the 3rd listen. So we'll see if anybody can figure that one out. We'll check the pop quiz answers. Today we're going to a racetrack. What? That's right. A racetrack. That sounds fun. A racetrack is una pista de coches. That is in today's, what's the section called? I forget. Oh, yeah, real reviews. That's it. Where I read you real reviews written by angry people. People who were pissed off, right? And you usually speak from the heart when you're pissed off. Hablas desde el corazón. You don't hold back. No te retienes nada. All right, folks, here we go with today's homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. Show with no name. Show with no homophones. Show it no. Show it no. Show it no.
All right, my amigos, let's take a look at today's homophones. Now, this first word has a lot of meanings, which is great because it means you have to learn one word to be able to use 20 different meanings. That makes life easy, right? Well, the chances of you getting it right increase. Now, in Spanish, you don't double up. There are some words like muñeca, which can be wrist, or doll, but English is full of them. And then you get some words like get or, put, dependiendo el phrasal, la preposición que le pongas. You literally have endless meanings. So that can be a plus or it can be something that can confuse you as well. But either way, the more you expose yourself to the vocabulary and different uses, the easier they'll be to recognize and hopefully use when you need to use them. All right, so the first word is a racing circuit. Hey, I just said we were going to look at that in today's real reviews. Hipódromo, you call it. Oh, I didn't know that was one way to say it. Me suena la palabra hipódromo, but I didn't know that was what you call it. So it is a racing circuit donde hay carreras, okay? It's also vía de tren, okay? Vía de tren, hipódromo. It's also rastro. Right? Si le ponemos una S, es rastro o huellas. It's also una pista de audio. As I said, very rich word here. It's also seguir la pista, rastrear, ir detrás de, right? It's also monitorizar, okay? Seguir, rastrear, monitorizar. That's a difficult word for me. Monitorizar. Okay. It's pista, vía, recorrido, también sendero. It's, a ver, I'm looking to see. Well, okay. And all the rest are pretty much the same. Atletismo as well. Let's see. Viajar. Okay. Well, basically, there are tons of uses. Ubicar, seguir, monitorizar, right? If you think about it, those are all kind of related in the same way. You're keeping an eye on something, vigilando algo, rastreando algo. But the other uses are pista, huella, hipódromo, vía, de tren. Again, a truly rich word, and we'll look at all the different uses when we do our reveal. The second word is camión. Now, not in British English, because in British English, they call it a lorry. Yeah, Lori for us, it was the neighbor. Her name was Lori. I'm not kidding here. I remember the first time I heard it. I worked at a company that they transported minerals. Betún, these different minerals. And the guy said, oh, yeah, we've got the Lori. I'm like, who? Who's she? I never met her. And that's what I learned from a Spanish guy from Cádiz. I learned that the word Lorry is the word in English, which I want you to give me because that's the second word. So it can be camión, camioneta. Okay. It's also on a skateboard. It is the thing that connects the wheels. So el boje. I think that would be, it's, if you think about it on a train, hablando de vías, lo que conecta. Bogie es una forma de decirlo. Boje, la voz inglesa es bogie. Boje, vagoneta. Okay. And also it is a verb. So si es camión, también es transportar por camión también. So wow. Again, not as rich as that first word, but still quite a rich word in today's homophones. All right, let's see if you know the words and if they sound exactly the same or not. Also, let me give you the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the third time.
I exercise every day. I vocalize every day. I practice if I'm working or not. So I just try to stay in shape all the time, vocally and mentally. And we got to work at them, but I don't mind it,
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks. If you want more information about Vaughntown, you can go over to grupovaughn.com. All right, let's see. Elena's participating in today's pop quiz. And the first one we were looking at is husmear. Okay. And this means kind of to look around, but in kind of a way where you're being nosy. All right. And she says, hey, you, stop snooping in my drawers. Excellent job. You can also put the word around with it too. So stop snooping around in my drawers. So think about it. Snoopy. Another way to say that is to sniff around. Aunque no estés oliendo, same idea. Stop snooping around. Stop sniffing around in my drawers, in mis cajones. You know why? Because if you go and you snoop around in my drawers, you're going to find drawers. Double trouble. Yeah, gallumbos. That's right. So, hey, you, stop snooping around or sniffing around, los dos te valen, in my drawers. The next one, she says, I beg your pardon. Can you come again? Excellent. Come again is another way of saying repeat that. Come again? Come again. Could you repeat that? Come again? That's a totally native. And I beg your pardon again. That's going to depend on your tone. I beg your pardon? Excuse me, motherfucker, would be the translation there. And, oh, I beg your pardon. Go ahead. Please continue. Okay. So one is sincere, like I'm sorry, excuse me. And the other one is excuse me, mofo. So that, again, the tone will be everything, but it's a very diplomatic phrase to know. I beg your pardon. Okay. And the last one, she says, let's get going, folks. Time is of the essence. Excellent. Time is of the essence. Eso es, el tiempo es oro. Los segundos cuentan. Time is of the essence. Time is money. Excellent job, Elena. You knocked it out of the park. She's also participating in our homophones challenge. The first word she gave us is correct, and the second word. Okay, the first word is track. Track. Now, many of you have seen this. If you've gotten anything from UPS or FedEx, it says tracking number. Well, that's the number that lets you track or track down your package. And this is to find, okay, to locate, to track down. But if we talk about a racetrack, well, we're talking about Jarama, for example. That's a racetrack, a circuit. It's another way of saying it. Just be careful you don't say circuit, right? A circuit or a racetrack. If we're talking about the railroad tracks, then we're talking about las vías de tren. It reminds me of an expression. He grew up on the wrong side of the tracks or on the other side of the tracks. That means en un barrio chungo, en el otro lado de las vías de tren. Right? On the wrong side of the tracks. Also, you've got to cover your tracks. Cubrir tu rastro, tus huellas. If you don't want to get caught, you need to cover your tracks. Okay? There's another usage of it there. Now, if we talk about del dedo, that would be your fingerprint, but your tracks would be donde paseas, right? Those would be like the footprints more than the fingerprints. An animal makes tracks, right? If you've ever gone for a walk in the snow, which I've done many, many times in the winter, you see deer tracks, right? De ciervos. You sometimes see bear tracks, right? So the expression, logically, cover your tracks, is don't let people see where you've been, right? Cover your tracks. To track down, to track, again, is to keep track of as well, right? Tomar notas del progreso. If you want to do anything in life, you need to keep track of it, right? Your expenses. If you want to lose weight, you need to keep track of your calorie intake, right? So to keep track of, really, really good. It's monitorizar, seguir, hacer seguimiento a algo, and we use it all the time. All right. So that word is track. Okay, so how would I say, vamos a rastrear el camión? Let's track down the truck. Otra vez. Let's track the truck. Let's track the truck. They are not homophones. Great job. Elena, knocking it out of the park. Today's your day, Elena. You are on it and unstoppable. Not one mistake. You're doing a wonderful job on all the different challenges. Homophones, also the say, are you kidding me, folks? She also got the say what soundbite. Wow. And you know what? It looks perfect. So wonderful job, Elena. All right, so track versus truck. Yeah, I remember the word trucks too. The first time I learned about it being something other than un camión was when I started getting into skateboarding. And I remember you could order the deck. The deck was la madera. You could order the wheels and the trucks separately. And I was like, trucks, camiones. And then I saw truck was the thing that connected the two wheels. Those are called the trucks. So one of those words, it has many meanings, not as many as track, but the pronunciation is truck. Track, say it with me. Let's do it all aloud here. Así practicamos los sonidos. Track rhymes with rack, rhymes with lack, carecer de, rhymes with pack, rhymes with sack, rhymes with attack. And truck rhymes with luck, suerte, suck, chupar, puck, lo que se usa en el hockey, right? And of course, fuck. All right. There you go, folks. Those are your homophones. It is time to move on, though. We're going to hear about some really pissed off people in today's Real Reviews.
First of all, what went through my mind is how stupid am I to actually volunteer for this?
Real Reviews.
Real Reviews found online.
Real Reviews.
It was unbelievably painful.
Unbelievably painful, yes. And today we are going to the racetrack. Now remember, in the United States, we love our racing. Oh man, especially down in the South. I remember going down south and seeing some serious racetracks. I mean, places that seat tens of thousands of people with some seriously modern facilities, instalaciones modernas. But also another thing that takes place at racetracks in the United States is fairs, ferias. That's right. So you get all these food trucks and all these stands and all these rides, atracciones, and usually in the summers, you'll find that racetracks are used as fairgrounds, como recintos feriales. Yeah, it's actually a really American thing. Last time I was in the United States, we went to the Orange County Fair. Normalmente cada condado tiene el suyo. And it took place at the Orange County Racetrack, which was awesome. So you had the racetrack in the background. You had the Iron Maiden tribute band. You had rides and food and all kinds of entertainment. And I highly recommend it. If you guys ever get a chance to go to a racetrack in the United States, do it. Even if there isn't a race going on, just to take a look at the facilities. And if you get a race, excellent. If you get a fair or some kind of concert, some kind of event, check it out. It's very American. It is very American. All right, well, let's take a look at what these people had to say. As always, I never give the name of the place because I'm not here to, to dirty anyone's name, to soil anyone's name. I'm just here to read real English found on the internet. All right, well, here the person says the rides are sketchy. So this person was there for a fair, a county fair. The rides are sketchy. Now, sketchy means shady, means dodgy. What does that mean? Not to be trusted. De no fiar. Okay? Sketchy. Sospechoso. Okay? Sketchy, dodgy, shady. Those are three different ways to say, I wouldn't trust them. Okay? Three adjectives that mean something you shouldn't trust. The rides are sketchy. That's dangerous right there. Everything is completely overpriced. I mean, se han pasado con los precios. The lines for any of the good rides are very long. Cualquier atracción bueno tiene colas largas. And they don't move very quickly due to people constantly cutting in the line. So to cut in line means saltarte la cola, right? We call them line jumpers, but it's to cut in line. A lemonade last year cost $14. El año pasado, una limonada me costó $14. Holy shit. And it was 3/4 full of ice. 3/4 estaba lleno de hielo del vaso. A plate of nachos was $20. So we're talking about for one lemonade and nachos, $34. And then you got rides. Just remember, the parking, all of that stuff, you got to add in there. Then the person said, this place is a scam for what they charge and what you actually get. A scam. Un timo. The next one. We love the Speedway. The Speedway is another way of saying the racetrack. We love the Speedway. It's a cool place. And my review is only bad for the fact that my 2-year-old son and I got food poisoning today. Oh, that stinks. We got food poisoning today from the pizza. We got from the concession stand. So the concession stand is where you get food. Concessions are food. I don't know how you contaminate pizza. No sé cómo contaminas a una pizza. But I wish so badly we didn't eat anything from here. So there you go, folks. Someone who got food poisoning but really enjoyed the place aside from that. And somebody else who said it was not only sketchy and dangerous, but it was also overpriced. But despite all that, I still think you guys should visit a racetrack or a speedway, as we call it. All right, folks, it's time for today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
That's right, folks. Welcome to our Spelling Bee. This is round one of today's Spelling Bee. As always, I'm going to fly through round one. But if you don't get it, don't worry, because you've always got round two. Here we go. The first one is Joaquin space Guzman. The second one is El space Chapo. The third one is Drug space Lord. The fourth one is Sinaloa space Cartel. The fifth one is El space Rapido. And the last one is LA space Tuna, comma, space BADIRAGUATO. All right. I know I flew through that one. It took me a while to get started. La primera empezó muy lenta, pero ya arranqué ahí. I'll give you another 30 seconds or so, and then I'll give you these words again, just in case you get a second round here. Now, don't fret at all if you don't get it on the first round, because I go really fast. I mean, I'm going native fast speed. So it would even be hard for a native speaker to get them on the first go. But that's why you have a second round. Okay, is everybody ready? I'm going to slow down considerably. I'm not going to go slow by any means, though. Okay, here we go. The first one is Joaquin space Guzman. The second one is ELCHAPO. The third one is DRUG space LORD. The fourth one is SINALOA space CARTEL. The fifth one is EL space RAPIDO. The sixth one, LA space TUNA, comma, space BADIRAGUATO. Folks, that is round two of your Spelling Bee. We've got tons of stuff to cover in the fourth and final part of today's show. Great job, Elena. She is kicking ass and taking names, leading the group, leading the charge. 3 words for you, Elena. Keep it up. Folks, we'll be right back with the rest of today's show, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Thank you so much for joining us daily. And remember, if you can't catch the program live, you can always catch it on the Vaughn Radio app. You can also catch it on your favorite podcast platform. iVox, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And speaking of iVox, we've got an exclusive English course available there right now. It's called Vaughan Inglés 4.0. And you can get more information about that by going over to iVox and searching. Search for Vaughan Inglés 4.0. It's a complete course that is available exclusively on the iVox platform. So many free ways to learn English, and they're all at your fingertips. All you need is an internet connection, and you can download tons of episodes of podcasts. I do it anytime I'm traveling, just in case. I don't know if I'm going to have a strong signal or anything, so before a big trip, I download hours and hours and hours of podcasts. This way, I'm armed to the teeth. And yes, I listen to English learning podcasts too, but they're more directed at teachers than students. Oh, you guys aren't the only ones studying and working hard. I can't tell you guys to constantly improve and study if I'm not doing it myself. So I've got to practice what I preach and constantly evolve. All right, let's kick off with the first challenge of the fourth part of today's show, and that's today's double trouble. Yeah. Come on. Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up, give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. That's right, amigos. It is time for today's double trouble. I think it's an easy one. We'll see, depending on your participation. All right. Ese tío me está dando repelús. Me está poniendo nervioso. Ugh, right? Ugh. Bad vibes, basically. Ese tío me está dando repelús. Me está poniendo nervioso, inquieto. Creo que es un asqueroso. You want me to give you a clue? Radiohead? All right. Can't make it easier than that. Your clue for today's double trouble is Radiohead. Ahora, por favor, no lo pronuncies Radiohead, right? It's like Walking Dead. I'm like, no. Doesn't even sound like the same show. So, ese tío me está dando repelús, me está poniendo inquieto, nervioso. Creo que es un asqueroso. That's your double trouble. You've got to use the same word twice. All right, let's also listen to our Say What soundbite. Here it is for the fourth and final time. As you know, Elena already got it, so sit back and relax. Elena, you've done your homework already. This one's for the rest of you.
I exercise every day. I vocalize every day. I practice if I'm working or not. So I just try to stay in shape all the time, vocally and mentally. And we got to work at them, but I don't mind it, you know.
Nunca he entendido por qué a la gente le hacía gracia el personaje de Spider Cerdo de la película de Los Simpsons. Es que no tiene gracia.
¿Cuál dice? ¿Spider-Ham?
Spider-Ham,
Es graciosísimo en inglés.
Claro, tiene todo el sentido. Es como la araña jamón.
Eso es.
Claro, tiene sentido que sea un cerdo. Y su identidad secreta es
Peter Porker en vez de Peter Parker.
Ah, claro, tiene sentido. Porker, que es como...
Porker es un gordito y viene de pork, que es cerdo.
Ah, tiene todo el sentido del mundo. Así da gusto aprender con This Book is the Shit, el tercer libro de Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
No te pierdas nuestro método Milky. Vas a aprender un montón porque en realidad ya lo sabías todo.
That's right, folks. All of my books are available at Von Tienda and wherever fine books are sold. All right, let's see. We've got German checking in. He says, morning, guys. What's up, German? He says, I guess politicians are sketchers then. I always find them sketchy in every way, shape, or manner. Yeah, that's an interesting one because a sketcher is somebody who does sketches. Bocetos. So that's an interesting one. That's one where, in fact, it's a weird name because the word sketcher isn't a negative word like the word sketchy. If the sneakers were called sketchy, I don't know if they would be as popular. Seriously. But the word sketcher is somebody who makes rough drawings, right? A sketcher. So the word we would say, I guess politicians are sketchy then, right? But that could be a triple trouble. The sketch artist is a little bit sketchy. No es de fiar. And he says, I always find them sketchy. Well, that's a perfect usage of the word sketchy. Politicians, right? They're all sketchy, dodgy kind of people. Let's see. We've got Elena participating in today's spelling bee. Let's see. The first one is correct. The second one's correct. The third, fourth, fifth, the sixth. We're missing a comma, but you got it. We'll give it to you, Elena. We're just missing one comma there, but no big deal at all. No big deal. All right, well, today's words, what did they have to do with? Well, today, in the year 2016, Joaquin Guzman, does that name ring a bell? Joaquin Guzman, they also call him El Chapo, El Rápido. Well, he was widely regarded as the world's most powerful drug trafficker. Well, he was tracked down. Hey, mira la palabra. Tracked down, ubicado, rastreado, following his escape from a maximum security prison in Mexico. So number one was his real name, his given name, Joaquin Guzman. Number two, one of his nicknames, El Chapo. Number three, his profession, drug trafficker or drug lord. Usually a drug dealer es más en la calle, right? So a drug dealer would be the guy on the corner like, hey, you want some ecstasy? That guy. A drug lord or a drug trafficker would be the one who employs or supplies all of those lower level dealers, right? So this guy, he was not standing on a street corner. You catch my drift? So he was a trafficker, a drug lord. And number four, Sinaloa cartel. I know you say cartel, right? You say in Spanish, we say cartel. So it's interesting. We took the word from you, but we pronounced it differently because it's obviously a word that came from the Spanish language. But I remember the first time I heard somebody say, hey, él está en ese cartel. And I said, cartel? Why do you say it like that? And they said, se dice así. Digo, en inglés es cartel. So the Sinaloa drug cartel, that was number four. Number five, El Rápido. That was his nickname. I hope that wasn't his nickname in the sack, en el sobre. His wife gave him that nickname, El Rápido. Oh, no. And the last one was La Tuna, comma, space, Badiri. I'm going to try and say this. Badiraguato. Badiraguato. Whew. Holy cow, it's not easy to say. And that was the area where he's from, the area where he operated. La Tuna, Badiraguato. And again, if I mispronounce that, no problem. I'm not planning on going there anytime soon. All right. Excellent job, Elena. Also, she's participating in our Double Trouble. She says that guy, vamos a ver, ese tío, that guy is giving me the creeps. I reckon he's a creep. Excellent job. Yes. 'Cause I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. 'Cause I'm a creep. Oh, it's a great song. Soy un asqueroso. A creep. Let's put it this way. Nobody wants to be around a creep. Okay? So, and if something gives you the creeps, I don't like that. Something that repels you, does not attract you, right? So, it makes me scared, makes me nervous, makes me on edge. Otra forma de decir nervioso. Not on the edge, on edge. You seem like you're on edge. Nervioso. So, ese tío me está dando repelús, poniendo nervioso. That guy is giving me the creeps. I think, or I reckon, as Elena said, he's a creep. He's a widow. Excellent job. Learning a little bit of English from music. I also love teaching English with movies. Name that movie. Yes. All right, folks. Here's today's Name That Movie. I remember seeing this movie at the movie theater in New York. I was living in New York City, and this was 1997. And I just remember somebody recommended it to me. They said, oh, you got to check out this movie. It also won many awards. In 1997, the year it came out, it won the Cannes International Film Festival, including the Grand Prix. So we're talking about a big prize here. And the catchphrase is, there is no such thing as the simple truth. No existe la verdad sencilla. All right. Great movie. Again, one of these movies that it's not my typical kind of movie because there's a lot of tragedy in it. Well, let me give you the tagline, the synopsis, and we'll see if you recognize it. Maybe you've seen it too. A bus crash in a small town brings a lawyer to defend the families, but he discovers everything isn't what it seems. So a bus crash, un choque de autobús, in a small town brings a lawyer, trae un abogado, a lawyer, an attorney, you can say either one, to defend the families, but he discovers everything isn't what it seems. Todo no es lo que parece. All right? Let's go through the scene over here. Sam says, Nicole, tomorrow, Mr. Stevens wants you to make your deposition at the community center. Thought I'd take you over. Okay? So quiere que hagas tu deposición. How do you say this? Esto es cuando hablas en un juicio. You testify, your deposition. A ver cómo lo ponen. Sí, declaración is the word, okay? So it's a statement that you give, una afirmación, under oath, bajo una promesa, que no, juramento, I think you say, right? Estás jurando. So Mr. Stevens wants you to make your deposition at the community center. Thought I'd take you over, okay? Thought I'd take you over. Now, to take somebody over is llevarles ahí. In other words, he's offering her a ride. Then Nicole says, great. And Sam says, you seem, I don't know, distant, I guess, right? You seem distant. If somebody seems distant, they're being a bit standoffish. Distante, I think you say the same thing, standoffish. A ver cómo lo traducen. Standoffish, poco amigable, despegado, distante, unfriendly. Okay, so standoffish, that's not the word that they gave us, but I'll give you that one there. So, I don't know, you seem distant, I guess. Hard to talk to. La que yo te di, standoffish. And Nicole says, we didn't used to have to talk a lot. Did we, Daddy? Come on. I don't remember us talking so much. Obviously, if a major traumatic, tragic event happens in a little town, people are going to talk much more, especially if they have to. They have to go and testify. So Sam says, well, what do you mean? Right? ¿Qué quieres decir? What do you mean? And Nicole says, I mean, I'm a wheelchair girl now. Quiero decir que soy una niña de silla de ruedas ahora. And it's hard to pretend is to fingir, to fake. It's hard to pretend that I'm a beautiful rock star. Remember, Daddy? ¿Te acuerdas, Papa? That beautiful stage that you were going to build for me? Ese escenario precioso que me ibas a construir? You were going to light it with nothing but candles. Lo ibas a iluminar con solamente velas. So she feels like her dreams have been lost because of this accident, because now she's in a wheelchair. All right, we've got a winner. Please give it up for Elena. The movie is The Sweet Hereafter. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's a very touching movie, very well made. The hereafter is el más allá, de aquí en adelante. So, en lo sucesivo, a partir de ahora. So, the sweet hereafter, great word to learn. The hereafter como una sola palabra. The Sweet Hereafter, is the name of the movie. It came out in 1997, and it stars Ian Holm and Sarah Polley, and it's directed by Turkish, if I'm not mistaken, a Turkish director, Atom Egoyan, and that guy has directed many, many movies. Remember, Calendar, and many, many more. Chloe. I know that the guy has definitely gotten a lot of accolades. Okay, accolades. I always forget that word in Spanish. Accolades, credits, a lot of accolades. Elogio, galardones. That's the word. I always forget that word. Galardón, accolade. All right, there you go, folks. That's today's Name That Movie. It's time to move on to Your Joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, folks. All right. I've got some Elvis jokes for you here. A couple Elvis jokes. What is a carnivore's favorite Elvis song? What is a carnivore's favorite Elvis song? Love me tender. Love me tender, love me true. Love meat tender. It sounds the same when you say love me tender. Quiéreme tiernamente. Love me tender, love meat tender. Si dices love meat tender, se une la T de meat con tender de tierno. Me encanta la carne tierna. Love me tender, love meat. All right, one more. What do the Queen and Elvis have in common? The Queen of England, well, the ex-Queen of England, and Elvis have in common. They both died on the throne. I know you say the same thing in Spanish. In fact, so that joke would actually translate. Ambos murieron en el trono. The throne is another way of saying the toilet. And as many of you know, Elvis Presley was found dead in his bathroom on the toilet. All right, folks, it's time to move on, though. It's time for famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Famous birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
All right, here we go. It's famous birthday trivia. The first person was born today in 1979. She's been in many movies, including The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. She was also in The Sweet Hereafter. What? Yeah, the one I just said. The Sweet Hereafter. So I just said her name moments ago. She was also in Dawn of the Dead, Mr. Nobody, and many, many more. She's also directed films as well. Extremely talented actress and director, hailing from Canada. Number 2, he's an alligator. He's a mama papa coming for you. He's a space invader. That's right. The guy who told us this is ground control to Major Tom. Space Oddity. Also Under Pressure. Oh, man, what a great Under Pressure with Freddie Mercury. Oh, man, the two of them together. Are you kidding me? And, very famous album of his, all of them were famous, was Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Hey, we looked at the word creeps today, didn't we? Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Also, Heroes. I mean, come on. Starman. I could literally just sing pieces of his songs for the next 20 minutes, but we only have 4 minutes left, so I won't do that. And last but not least, the king of rock and roll. That's right. He was from Tupelo, Mississippi. Tupelo? Bueno, así se escribe, but it's Tupelo, Mississippi. Now, a lot of people think he was born in Memphis, Tennessee, but the thing is, he wasn't born there. That's where he got famous, down in Memphis, Tennessee. And the king, Heartbreak Hotel, I can't help falling in love with you. The guy who was always shaking his pelvis, especially when he did the Jailhouse Rock. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's famous birthdays. Number 1 is Sarah Polley. Number 2, David Bowie. And number 3, Elvis Presley. That's pretty awesome. Elvis Presley and David Bowie share a birthday. Talk about two geniuses there. One hailing from England and the other one hailing from the south of the United States, Tupelo, Mississippi. And when he was 13, he went to Memphis, Tennessee, and he began his music career at Sun Records. I toured Sun Records, and it was life-changing. If you ever get the chance to go to Memphis, Tennessee, do not miss Sun Records. Like, it is, especially if you're a rock and roll, not just Elvis, if you're a rock and roll fan, Sun Records is Mecca, basically. All right. And that'll bring us over to our Say What soundbite. This is Elvis Presley. That's right. And he says, I exercise every day. I exercise every day. I vocalize every day. I practice even if I'm working or not. So I just try and stay in shape all the time. Well, unless we're talking about his later years. Vocally and mentally. He goes, we got to work at them. Hay que trabajar en esas cosas. We got to work at them. But I don't mind it, you know? Pero me da igual. ¿Sabes? All right, so here he is, the king of rock and roll, Mr. Elvis Presley.
I exercise every day. I vocalize every day. I practice if I'm working or not. So I just try to stay in shape all the time, vocally and mentally. And we got to work at them, but I don't mind it, you know.
All right, folks, that applause is for you. Awesome job. Thank you for learning and laughing with me every day here on the Show with No Name, learning from music, movies, things that happened in pop culture, wacky records, and whatever else comes up in our 2-hour extravaganza. Thank you so much. We're going to say goodbye with David Bowie and Moon Age Daydream. That's right. That was the one I was just singing. I'm an alligator. I'm a mama, papa coming for you. I'm a space invader. Well, don't take my word from it. Don't take my word for it. Take it from the man himself, David Bowie. I'm an alligator. Sing it. Come on. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with more. I promise. Ciao for now.